Today we're going to learn how to write a body paragraph for your argument essay. Argument writing follows a particular format. First, you have your introduction with your hook and your thesis statement, and now we're going to focus on the body, and that's where the reasons to support the argument are developed. The body of the essay is where you develop the reasons stated in your thesis. Reasons are backed up by evidence that proves the reasons are relevant or related, connected to your thesis, sound, they make sense and they're logical, and they are sufficient. You have enough reasons to support your claim. All the pieces of evidence need to be connected, explained, or elaborated on to connect the evidence to the reason. These are the finer details of the argument. So the parts of a body paragraph would be the transition. You start with a transition, followed by a topic sentence that is the first reason from your thesis sentence, evidence, elaboration on your evidence, your second piece of evidence, an elaboration on that, and then if you have a third piece of evidence, you want to elaborate on that, and then your closing sentence, which relates back to the topic sentence or hints at the next paragraph topic. Here's an example body paragraph, and you can see that it is highlighted with all the different parts. So here, the transition. Firstly, we have a transition here. And then the topic sentence is in yellow. Fast food can cause a negative impact on health because it can lead to obesity. And then the signal phrase, according to an article published by Dr. Cheryl Irvin on the Center for Disease Control website. And then we have evidence, and that's a direct quote from the website. And then the elaboration of that quote is in purple. And this is where the reader makes that the writer makes the connection for the reader. And then you follow again by your signal phrase and your evidence and your elaboration, and then finally a closing sentence. And the closing sentence is just where the writer kind of wraps up the paragraph or even leads to the next point that's going to be made in the next paragraph. So elaboration is kind of difficult for some people. And so let's talk about that. That's where you just think through the process and break it down for your reader. Okay, so for this example, the topic sentence is eating fast food can also lead to lethargy or extreme tiredness. Okay, and then we have a quote here from Dr. Justin Moore. That says the quick spike in your blood sugar when a person eats junk food causes a surge in insulin, which causes blood sugar to drop. This leaves a person feeling tired, cranky, and hungry for more. So here's where your elaboration comes in. This is where you make that connection for your reader. This clearly shows that when people eat foods that are high in fat and low in protein, such as fast food, they tend to have less energy, feel tired, and end up sitting on the couch doing nothing. So that's just giving an explanation of the evidence for your reader. You could also draw an analogy where you identify significant likenesses between two objects or ideas when they're really quite different. And so here's an analogy we could have used for the point on lethargy. Oops. It says the food you eat is a lot like the fuel or oil you put in your car. A car that has clean fuel and oil change runs smoothly and efficiently. Race cars use only the best fuel and oil to perform at top speeds. Cars that aren't tuned up, haven't had an oil change, and use poor fuel struggle to make it down the road. Your body is the same way. So here's where the writer used an analogy of how the food we put into our body is like the fuel that people and the oil that people put into their cars. It says, feed your body the energy it needs and stay away from excess fat and cholesterol, and you will perform at your greatest. Feed it fast food and high in fat content, and it slows to a stop. Do you want to be a race car or a clunker that will end up in the mechanic's hands? Okay, so there's an example of an analogy. And so these are just some ways that you can develop your body paragraph.